Hey, Walleye Wisdom Watchers, this is Gary Spiker reporting from Spring Valley, Illinois, in the boat with my good friend and partner for the tournament here at Spring Valley, Dave Nichols. What's going through your mind right now, Dapper Dave?
Well, I'm trying to stay warm. It's a little nippy this morning, but I think it's going to warm up nicely for us. And we're in the second flight today, so we're in the kind of the shuffle. First flight is launched. It looked like a lot of boats were going downriver today.
Yeah, we're sitting in kind of a misty fog, so hopefully that'll lift and we'll have safe travels to our spot. What do you think? Are we going to follow up with that game plan we talked about over breakfast?
Well, I think that's important, that you follow up with your game plan. We're sure going to give it a try. And if the fish are cooperative, then we're going to think that we're pretty smart. If the fish don't cooperate, then we'll just figure that we're not as smart as they are.
For folks that have never been in a tournament, we've got 154 boats in this event, Dave, and many of the boats are going to be in some of the same spots. What are some tips for folks that find themselves fishing in amongst a lot of other boats that may be, whether it's tournament or non-tournament time?
Well, you've got to remember that everybody has a right to use the water.
Yep.
And to be courteous. Try and communicate as best you can. A lot of times out here we use hand signals. We'll point, if we're coming at people, we'll point to ourselves and point to the direction, and the other boat will do the same. You just try to maintain appropriate spacing. Sometimes it gets a little close and maybe too close for comfort, but then you just apologize and move on, and again, you try to work together. It's the only thing you can do.
Yeah, in my tournament experience, I've found that I suppose 99.9% of the tournament anglers are very courteous to each other on the water, particularly when you're confined like this. But kind of reminds me a little bit, Dave, of up there at the FLW Championship last year at Bismarck. There were, half the field was in a little tiny area under a bridge. The guys were literally boat to boat, and yet when a guy would get a fish on and he'd back up to get the fish in the boat, his pals would leave his spot so he could come back to it. So you see a high degree of professionalism out here on this water.
Well, I think today we're probably going to see one or two spots on the river have a third to a half of the field. From the sounds of things, the reports going around, a lot of people are going to be in a couple of spots, and it should be interesting to see how that works. I think the folks that are able to find fish on the edges of those spots may be the most successful.
Yeah, we learned from the DNR lady yesterday at the rules meeting that most of these females have spawned out already?
Yeah, most of the females have now spawned. They started last weekend, and this warm weather this week has really accelerated the spawning process. So I think the weights are going to be down a little bit, maybe from what people had anticipated. A big fish here is going to be very valuable, and not only for the big fish pot, but for your overall tournament finish.
Yeah, well, Dave, I want to thank all our Walleye Wisdom watchers around the world for following our videos and our stories here at Spring Valley, and hopefully we'll have a good report for them at the end of the day.
We appreciate all the good wishes, and Walleye Wisdom watchers, we'll be seeing you.
Thanks a lot.